Hey everyone, welcome back. It's time for another deep dive, and today we're going to be looking at the life of former President Jimmy Carter.
A remarkable life. 100 years.
I know, 100 years.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Right.
We've got some excerpts here from the AJC article announcing his passing and a really cool photo gallery that celebrates his life.
It's amazing to look back and see just how much he accomplished outside of the presidency.
Exactly. And that's what's so fascinating to me. He wasn't always, on this path to the White House. I mean, he started out, in Plains, Georgia.
Right.
And even spent some time in the Navy.
Yeah, serving on submarines. Not just any submarines. Nuclear submarines.
Wow.
Part of that elite program, working with cutting-edge technology, facing the immense responsibility of nuclear deterrence. I mean, that must have profoundly shaped his worldview.
Yeah. It really makes you think about how those experiences might have influenced his later approaches to peace and diplomacy.
Right.
But then a pivotal moment happens. His father passes away.
That's right. And that brought him back to Plains, seemingly derailing his naval career. But instead of seeing it as an end, he embraced this new chapter.
Yeah.
And it ultimately set him on the path to politics.
Yeah, it's amazing how life can take these unexpected turns.
Yeah, absolutely.
And from there, his political rise was, almost meteoric. School board state senator, then governor of Georgia.
All in just a few years.
In just a few years.
His ability to connect with people, to articulate a vision for a better future. I mean, it really shone through during those early years.
Yeah.
But even with that momentum, his presidential bid seemed like a long shot at the time.
A peanut farmer from Georgia.
I know.
Aiming for the White House.
Yeah.
What were the odds?
It's a testament to his tenacity and the power of grassroots campaigning,
Great.
He connected with voters on a personal level, portrayed himself as an outsider, someone who understood the struggles of everyday Americans.
And it worked.
And it worked.
And then to top it all off, he chooses to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue for his inauguration.
Instead of riding in a limo.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
What a sight that must have been.
I know.
That decision, that image of him walking alongside Rosalynn, really encapsulated his down-to-earth persona and his desire to be seen as a president of the people. He wasn't going to be confined by the trappings of power.
So looking back at Carter's presidency, it's striking how intertwined his triumphs and setbacks really were. What do you think were some of the most significant challenges he faced?
Well, he inherited a nation grappling with economic uncertainty and a loss of confidence in its leadership following the Watergate scandal. On the international front, the Cold War continued to cast a long shadow, and regional conflicts demanded his attention.
Right.
He had to navigate these complexities while also trying to enact his own ambitious agenda.
And speaking of his agenda, he achieved some remarkable things during his presidency. The Camp David Accords immediately come to mind.
Yeah, brokering peace between Egypt and Israel.
Yeah, two nations with such a long history of conflict.
I know the Camp David Accords are often hailed as, a landmark achievement. But what's truly fascinating is how Carter managed to bridge that deep mistrust between Egypt and Israel. He didn't just sit back and let diplomats handle the negotiations.
Right.
He was deeply involved, personally invested in finding common ground.
So he wasn't just a figurehead.
Yeah.
He was a true mediator.
Exactly. He spent weeks at Camp David with Anwar Sadat and Menachem. Begin patiently listening, mediating, finding creative solutions to seemingly insurmountable obstacles. It was a testament to his commitment to peacemaking and his ability to build trust even in the most challenging of circumstances.
It's an incredible example of what diplomacy can achieve when backed by genuine determination.
Absolutely.
Of course, his presidency wasn't without its share of difficulties.
Right.
The Iran hostage crisis was a major blow, wasn't it?
Without a doubt, the Iran hostage crisis cast a long shadow over his presidency. The failed rescue mission and the prolonged negotiations culminating in the hostages' release on his very last day in office created a sense of frustration and even disillusionment among many Americans.
It must have been incredibly challenging to navigate that crisis while also dealing with all the domestic issues we talked about earlier.
It was.
Which it seems like he was constantly facing uphill battles.
He was. And it's easy to see how those challenges, both domestic and international, contributed to his single-term presidency.
Right.
But what's remarkable is that he didn't let those setbacks define him.
And this is where Carter's story takes a surprising turn.
Yes. Instead of retiring from public life, he embarked on a post-presidency unlike any other. I mean, he could have easily just retreated to a life of leisure, written his memoirs, enjoyed the perks of being a former president. Yeah. But that wasn't Jimmy Carter.
It wasn't.
He saw his time out of office not as an ending, but as a beginning.
Right.
A chance to continue working towards the ideals he had championed as president: peace, justice, and human dignity.
And he didn't shy away from rolling up his sleeves and getting involved on a very personal level. I mean, how many former presidents do you see building houses with Habitat for Humanity?
Yeah, that image of him hammer in hand working alongside volunteers to build homes for those in need.
It's so powerful.
It is. It speaks volumes about his humility and his commitment to putting his values into action.
It really does.
Yeah.
It challenges that traditional image of a former president, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't about maintaining a certain status or enjoying the limelight for him.
Right.
It was about making a tangible difference in people's lives.
Exactly. And he did that on a global scale through the Carter Center.
Yes, the Carter Center.
It's not just a think tank. It's an organization that's actively involved in promoting peace, democracy, and health around the world.
From monitoring elections to eradicating diseases, I mean, their work is incredibly impactful.
Absolutely.
I remember reading about their efforts to combat guinea worm disease in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
It was a long, painstaking process requiring education, outreach, and a lot of persistence.
A lot of persistence, and they were incredibly successful.
They were.
Guinea worm disease, which once afflicted millions, is now on the verge of eradication thanks in large part to the Carter Center's efforts.
Wow.
It's a testament to his belief that even seemingly intractable problems can be solved with determination and a focus on practical solutions.
It's inspiring to see how much can be achieved when someone dedicates themselves to a cause with such unwavering commitment.
Yeah. But beyond the big headlines, you know what really strikes me is his quiet, consistent dedication to making the world a better place, even in small ways.
Right.
You know, he never sought the spotlight for these acts of kindness, but they had a ripple effect that touched countless lives.
Yeah.
Whether it was mediating conflicts, advocating for human rights, or simply lending a helping hand to those in need, he lived his values every single day.
It's a powerful reminder that leadership isn't about titles or positions.
Right.
It's about using your influence, however big or small, to make a positive impact.
Yeah.
And that's something we can all strive for, regardless of our background or circumstances.
Absolutely. And it's also a reminder that true leadership involves constant growth and evolution. You know, Carter was willing to challenge his own beliefs, to learn from his experiences, and to adapt his views based on new information and perspectives.
It's such an important point. He didn't let his ego get in the way of doing what he believed was right, even if it meant admitting he was wrong or changing his stance on a particular issue.
Right.
I mean, that kind of humility is rare.
It is.
Especially in someone who has achieved such high office.
It speaks to his character, his integrity, and his genuine desire to learn and grow throughout his life. He never stopped seeking knowledge, never stopped engaging with the world around him.
It really makes you wonder, what will historians ultimately view as his most lasting legacy? The Camp David Accords, the Carter Center, something else entirely?
It's a complex question, and I'm sure it'll be debated for years to come. But I think it's safe to say that his post-presidency redefined the very notion of what a former leader can achieve.
Yeah. He set a new standard, a model of active, engaged citizenship that continues to inspire others to use their talents and experiences to make a difference in the world.
And perhaps his most enduring legacy lies not just in the specific achievements, but in the values he embodied: compassion, humility, a commitment to service, and an unwavering belief in the possibility of positive change.
Those values are timeless, and they resonate deeply with people from all walks of life.
They do.
They serve as a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, to leave the world a little bit better than we found it.
And that, I believe, is the essence of Jimmy Carter's legacy: a legacy of hope, a legacy of action, and a legacy of unwavering belief in the inherent goodness of humanity.
What stands out to you about Carter's journey? His evolution from a small-town peanut farmer to a global peacemaker is quite a story, isn't it?
It is, and I think what's particularly striking is that his evolution was a continuous process. He wasn't afraid to challenge his own preconceived notions, to learn from others, and to adapt his views based on new information and experiences.
Yeah, you're right. We often think of leaders as, having all the answers. But Carter's life shows us that true leadership involves constant growth and a willingness to be open to new ideas, especially when it comes to something as complex as race and human rights. He came from a very different South, but he was able to evolve and champion progress.
That's right. That's a testament to his character and his commitment to justice.
Yeah.
He didn't let his ego or his background limit his ability to grow and change.
Right.
And that's a powerful lesson for all of us, I think.
It is. It reminds us that we should never stop learning, Yeah. Never stop questioning and never stop striving to be better versions of ourselves.
Exactly. And it's also a reminder that leadership isn't about wielding power over others.
Yeah.
It's about empowering others to reach their full potential and create a more just and equitable world for all.
His actions always seem to align with his words.
Mm.
I keep thinking back to that photo of him walking down Pennsylvania Avenue on Inauguration Day, hand in hand with Rosalind. It was such a powerful symbol of his humility, his connection to the people, and his commitment to leading by example.
It was. That image perfectly encapsulates his approach to leadership. He didn't believe in putting himself above others.
What?
He believed in working alongside them, walking with them, and striving to make a difference together.
It makes you wonder. In a world that often equates success with wealth, power, and fame, how do we define a life well lived?
Well, Carter's life offers a compelling answer to that question. He showed us that true success isn't measured by material possessions or accolades,
Right.
but by the positive impact we have on the world around us.
His legacy is a testament to the power of compassion service and an unwavering belief in the possibility of positive change. It's something we can all learn from and be inspired by, regardless of our background or our aspirations.
It really is. And as we continue to reflect on his life and work, I'd leave you with this final thought to ponder.
Okay.
Considering the long arc of his journey, how might Carter's commitment to humanitarian work ultimately be seen as his most lasting legacy?
It's a thought-provoking question, and one that I'm sure will continue to spark conversation and reflection for years to come. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the life of a truly remarkable man.